Hello, how's it going? Welcome to the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. Now, if you're watching this video, then I suspect you're probably interested in growing a YouTube channel. Maybe you're a complete beginner and you are overwhelmed with all of the information out there and all of the stuff you have to learn in order to grow a YouTube channel successfully. Maybe you're a bit more experienced, you might have been doing YouTube for a while, but you're not really getting the traction that you want. You're struggling with consistency. You're not sure if you've got the right strategy. You're always worrying about what's your niche. Or maybe you've got some sort of business and you recognize the value in a YouTube channel in generating organic leads for that business. But again, there's all this information out there and you don't really know where to begin. Now, if any of that resonates with you, then I think the Part-Time YouTuber Academy is just what you need. And in the rest of this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Now, if we haven't yet met, then hello, my name is Ali. I'm a doctor turned entrepreneur and writer. And that is really just thanks to my YouTube channel. Because back in 2017, when I was a medical student at Cambridge University, I decided to start making YouTube videos. And I started with 0 subscribers and 0 views, and I was making no money, and I knew nothing about how to make videos, how to film, how to edit. But through painstaking trial and error, I managed to teach myself the skills of how to grow a YouTube channel. And in the first 3 years of my journey, my YouTube channel grew from 0 to over 1 million subscribers. And I did all of that while working full-time as a junior doctor in the UK's National Health Service, working 60-hour weeks, commuting 2 hours to work here and back, working during the pandemic as well, and growing the YouTube channel and my business alongside that. And then thanks to the success of my YouTube channel, I was able to quit my day job, become a full-time entrepreneur, start building software, get a book deal with Penguin and Macmillan, publish a book that hit the New York Times bestseller list, and now my life is completely different. I could not even have imagined the position I'm now in, where we've got a team of 20 people, got a business that does over $5 million a year in revenue, and my YouTube channel now has over 5.7 million subscribers at the time of recording, and I still only spend about 1 day a week on my YouTube channel. Now, over the years, loads of people have been asking me, what is the secret to success on YouTube? How do you grow a YouTube channel, crucially, without it completely taking over your life? How do you grow a potentially life-changing YouTube channel while you're busy, while you've got a job, while you've got family responsibilities, while you have some hobbies outside of just making YouTube videos? And because I kept on getting those questions, a few years ago, I created the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, which basically condenses everything that I and my team have learned over the last 7+ years of growing a YouTube channel. It also includes a bunch of insights from other friends of mine, because as you grow on YouTube, you become friends with other big YouTubers. When we get together, we talk about YouTube and strategy and niching and thumbnails and stuff. All of that knowledge is also in the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. And we've had thousands of students go through the Part-Time YouTuber Academy over the last several years. And on this page, you'll find a bunch of case studies and testimonials from students who have been really successful. And a bit later on in this video, you're gonna hear from a bunch of our students and what they specifically had to say about the course. But before we go there, I just wanna kind of give you a bit of an overview of what it takes to grow on YouTube. And the way I think about it is that it's really about 3 key things. Firstly is consistency. You have to be consistent in making YouTube videos. It doesn't necessarily have to be once a week, although that's what I recommend for a lot of channels, but it just needs to be consistent. There is no one who grows on YouTube sustainably who hasn't found a way to be consistent with the process. Secondly, your videos actually need to be good. You need quality videos. Consistency alone is not enough. YouTube is getting more and more competitive than ever before. And something I often say is that it's never been easier to grow a YouTube channel if your videos are good, but it's never been harder to grow a YouTube channel if your videos are bad. So you need consistent videos, but you also need them to be good meaning valuable to your audience. And then the third piece of the puzzle is that you need the right strategy. I suspect if you're watching this, you probably have a lot of different interests. Maybe you're interested in personal development and productivity and personal finance and business and playing the guitar. You probably have all these different interests, but trying to build a YouTube channel where you're talking about all of your different interests is a recipe for disaster. It's like trying to compete with Amazon by creating the everything store. The way Amazon grew is that they started with just books, and then they slowly expanded out their niche to include more and more things, to eventually become Amazon. One of the mistakes I see with so many YouTubers is that they're just trying to do too many things. They're just trying to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks and just like, oh, I just want to make videos about what interests me. You can make videos about what interests you, and that is definitely part of being a YouTuber. But if you really want to grow on YouTube, a lot of it is about shifting from thinking of it as a hobby that you do for fun, and more towards thinking of it like a little bit of a business where your goal is to provide value to other people, because you only grow on YouTube when you're providing value to others. So really, it's about consistency meets quality meets strategy, and all 3 of those things are things that we cover in our course, the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. On the consistency piece, you get access to our YouTube operating system. This is a whole system that we've created over the last several years to try and make it as effortless as possible to create YouTube videos consistently. So things like idea generation, titles, thumbnails, hooks, how to script videos in a way that doesn't take up your entire life, how to film videos in an effective and productive way, how to edit videos or even outsource your editing so that you don't have to edit your videos. Building these sorts of systems around your channel can really help you unlock that consistency. Then we have the strategy piece, and this is where it's about making the right videos. It's about figuring out what your niche is, identifying your target market, figuring out what your value proposition is, analyzing the competitive landscape to see how saturated is this niche that you potentially want to go down, figuring out what are your competitive advantages, what are the ways you might be able to stand out from the crowd, And then finally, we have the quality piece, which is in a way the hardest part. Like, how do you actually make good videos? Now, this could be a whole like 10-year long university degree, PhD in and of itself, because there's obviously an infinite amount you could do to make better YouTube videos. But what we've tried to do is to distill it to the 80-20. What is the 20% of stuff that really moves the needle and drives 80% of the results? So we talk about titles, we talk about thumbnails, we talk about hooks, storytelling, branding, camera quality, production value, editing, camera confidence, all of these different aspects of being a YouTuber that are associated with making high quality videos. And you get all of that condensed within the course, the Part-Time YouTuber Academy. So those three components, consistency, quality, and strategy, are what it takes to grow a YouTube channel. But then there's also a monetization and kind of business component to it, which is where you turn your YouTube channel into a sustainable and thriving creator business. So we've got modules on monetization and how to think about that. And then finally, underneath all of this, there is the layer of emotions. There is the roller coaster of being a YouTuber. If you're a beginner, then you probably vibe with the fear of putting yourself out there. If you have made any amount of YouTube videos, you probably understand what it feels like to be on that roller coaster, like worrying about what the algorithm thinks, trying to look at your analytics, trying to figure out why your videos aren't performing, feeling burnt out because like, you don't really want to make that video, or all of the emotions associated with YouTube. And so what we try and do throughout the course, and especially in our community, is we try and address these emotional issues to help you basically realize that you're not alone. If you're finding that growing on YouTube is really hard and really emotionally draining, you are not alone. You're surrounded by a community of like-minded people. The community is actually one of the parts of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy that is most raved about. We also host in-person meetups every now and then. We did one in London the other day, we did one in Austin. And within the community, we have regular online community events that you can join completely for free if you're part of the community. And you can find loads more information about that on this page as well. Now, I want to end with a few stories from our students. So firstly, let's start with the complete beginners. Now, this is Izzy. Now, she started her YouTube channel at the time that she took the Part-Time YouTuber Academy when she was a complete beginner. She knew nothing about making videos. And a few years later, Izzy now has over 600,000 subscribers. And this is what she had to say about the Part-Time YouTuber Academy.
Firstly, I think the content is super helpful, especially for someone who's beginner or just started on YouTube, to really give them an idea of the YouTube landscape and how everything works. And secondly, actually I think this is maybe the biggest reason, is the amazing community of like-minded creators that are all together in PTYA. And actually I've made some amazing friends in PTYA, and that side of the community is something I never expected and has actually been the most valuable takeaway from PTYA. So I'd highly recommend getting involved with PTYA for the content, but also the community. And I think the community is really what we remember, those connections and the friends we make along the way.
Next up, we've got Ellie Jean, who's a fashion and style consultant. Now, she took the Part-Time YouTuber Academy when she had around 1,000 subscribers on her channel. And after taking the YouTuber Academy, her growth has absolutely skyrocketed, and she now has around 350,000 subscribers.
I found loads of really great resources through the Academy. It's really helped me to think about capturing everything that I see and putting it somewhere where I can return to it. I would recommend others to join the PTYA because it's such an amazing community. First of all, the feedback that I got on every video was so valuable. It was so detailed, and I learned so much that I can apply to every video that I make ever again.
And then we have Clara, who is a doctor and YouTuber who joined YouTuber Academy when she had around 600 subscribers, but then within a year of taking the course, her channel had blown up to over 85,000 subscribers, and now she's got over 200,000.
As an absolute beginner, when I joined the PTYA, I didn't have a well-defined niche and target audience. After taking the course, I knew exactly who my target audience was and what I needed to make good quality videos. And since then, I've gone from around 600 subs to more than 85k, and it feels great. If you're serious about YouTube, the PTYA is a solid course, and it's going to help you get your videos and your channel to the next level. You can network and get advice and feedback from other professional YouTubers, videographers, great editors, and other amazing people. The PTYA is so much more than just a valuable course. It's a whole ecosystem designed to help you succeed at YouTube and change your life.
We've also had people who are more intermediate who took the course. So for example, there's John Coogan, who was one of our most impressive and consistent students. Now he started making videos before joining the YouTuber Academy, but he was only at around 1,000 subscribers when he joined, and he was getting less than 1,000 views per video. But then after taking the course, one of his videos took off, and the channel has not stopped growing since, and he's currently at over 400,000 subscribers, and this is what he had to say about the course.
I thought the PTYA would be a great place to go and see kind of a full picture of all of the different skills that you need to put together in order to run a successful channel. Having a smaller community to kind of compete with really motivated me to kind of bring my A game. Since PTYA, the channel's grown a ton. A good video would get about 100 views before PTYA, and now I'm getting like 50,000 views every video, which is crazy. I do think PTYA is the best course I've seen on the topic.
And then we have Tiago Forte. Now, Tiago is interesting because he actually had his own 7-figure business where he was selling productivity-themed courses, and he decided to double down on YouTube. And he actually hired one of our former students, Mark Koenig, who was a student of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, and his channel has absolutely exploded over the last 2 years to over 250,000 subscribers. And Tiago actually attributes a lot of his business revenue and even his book sales to the fact that he has a YouTube channel.
I wanted to build an entirely new channel for my business, but I didn't want to have to learn all the ins and outs of lighting and sound and all these things. I knew someone had to, but as the owner of a business, I really wanted to acquire that expertise. So I really looked for someone who had been through a course like this one. All of that allowed us to just grow much, much faster than if I had to deal with those things myself. If you're coming to YouTube to just find a new way to distribute your ideas and find subscribers, I would really look for someone who's been through this program. And I can't imagine, I don't know of any other program that does that better than Part-Time YouTuber Academy.
And then in terms of advanced students who still got value from the YouTuber Academy. So for example, this is Ethan Chableski, and he's a fantastic cooking YouTuber. He took the Part-Time YouTuber Academy when he had 400,000 subscribers, but now he's got over 2 million. And this is what he had to say about the course.
And Ali is right in that there's no secret trick to making it successful on YouTube. So as a full-time content creator already, when I took the course, I was most interested kind of in expanding and monetizing to the latter half of the curriculum, but I really did find just as much value in those first couple of weeks around building, conceiving, and creating content. So basically, it took me around 150 so videos and a lot of trial and error to kind of learn and brute force my way to become successful. But what he's gonna do in those first couple of weeks is basically leap you way ahead of that curve so you can start on the right foot, and maybe more importantly, he's gonna put structure and systems in place so you can consistently turn out better and better content, which is ultimately how you're gonna reach your goals on YouTube.
And then we've got Chris Williamson. Now, Chris has a podcast called Modern Wisdom, which at the time he took the course had about 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but Chris now has over 2.4 million subscribers, and his podcast is one of the biggest in the world, and here is what he had to say about the course.
I'm a big fan of the Part-Time YouTuber Academy because it really helped to take me from total noob with regards to how YouTube works to pretty well informed. I understood the physics of the platform. I understood the reason that you need to create a hook, the way to design your thumbnails, the way to set up both your lighting and your camera. It was just a one-stop shop for me. I'd already done quite a lot of learning online on my own. I had taken a couple of other courses that were a little bit smaller, and this was my time to turn pro with going onto YouTube, and it made a massive difference. Ali and the content that him and the guys have created is very, very useful, and still now, 3 years after taking the course, I am continuing to rely on some of the resources that I took from it then. I highly recommend it. Just check it out.
And then we've got Ankur Waraku. Now, Ankur took the Part-Time YouTuber Academy when he was already making YouTube videos for 3 years, and he was on around 36,000 subscribers. Now, that is pretty good, but look at what happened to his growth after he took the course. Ankur is now over 4.5 million subscribers, and now, of course, correlation is not actually causation, but here is what Ankur had to say about the course.
I had been running content for the last 3 years up until that point on YouTube, on Instagram, but frankly, things had not worked the way that I'd planned for. The growth was slow, it was inconsistent, and I didn't know what was lacking. So when the course came about in my life, it was instantly and starkly clear very early on what was missing. And I believe I learned so much from the community that Ali and his team had built and recruited around the course itself. Of course, the content and Ali's own experience of running his YouTube channel and getting it to scale. And the biggest thing that I believe I derived from that was the concept of the infinite content engine, a way to continuously and almost infinitely create content on multiple ideas that you're passionate about, that you believe that the world can benefit from. And I've been blessed to have Ali as a mentor and as somebody that I've looked up to all these years, drawn so much from, both as inspiration as well as just content in such high quality measures, that I would absolutely recommend PTYA to anybody who wishes to start on their YouTube or content creation journey. It's brilliant to be amongst like-minded people. It's so awesome to be connected with people from across the world, draw from their experiences, from their worldview, and to then identify your own path in the entire circle and community. It's wonderful that this program continues to thrive, continues to flourish, and it's not a surprise that it has gone to the scale that it has. And my congratulations to Ali and team for pulling it off so consistently well, which is so true of how he's done things so far.
So as you can see, there's a bunch of different stories that we've got from our students, from beginners to intermediate to advanced students. I suspect whatever level of YouTube you're at, there will be something in this course for you. You can find loads more information on this page. And we also have a special Help Ali Sleep at Night money back guarantee. Basically, to be honest, I care a lot what other people think of me. I have a chronic need for approval, which is why I decided to be a YouTuber in the first place. And so we have a money back guarantee where if you take the course and you don't like it, you just email us and we will give you your money back. We will just ask you one question, which is what can we do to improve the course? Because obviously we want it to be actually good. So that's it from me. If you've gotten to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Please do check out the rest of this information on this page if you want to find out more. And if you like, potentially we will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.